If you've been through the ROS section of this course, you probably remember you have a few ways of providing an initial configuration to your controller. You have the CLI way, and then you have two graphical interface methods, one with this newer WS Express setup, and then the more traditional web interface, same questions as in the CLI wizard. Well, on the iOS XE platform, there is kind of the same type of logic where you can go a few ways. You can, of course, as usual, connect through the console at the back or at the front, and then you can do the CLI initial setup. That is for the switching part or the IP connectivity part, I would say. In other words, you'll go there, configuring some IP address, configure some basic items which allow you to connect to that box to manage it. And then you will refine your configuration once this initial setup is done. You can do the same actually using a graphical interface as well. I'm going to show you that too, where you'll be basically pressing a button on the front of the switch, connecting a laptop somewhere, and then you can do a sort of similar setup using a graphical interface express setup. This again is to provide basic connectivity to that box. It's pretty limited in scope. Then, once you have an IP address, you can of course use the CLI and do an entire configuration set there if you want to. But if you want to configure wireless a little bit more extensively, things like controller IP address, of course, but country, basic SSID name, RF group, that kind of things, then you can use the graphical interface and also connect there to do this WCM configuration, which is going through a wizard as well, but with a slightly different scope. You don't need to do all three methods because if you use basic IP connectivity and if you provide that connectivity in any way, CLI or graphical, then you can use that third method, this WCM configuration, to connect to the box and provide the configuration you need, including some additional items for connectivity without having to do all three wizards. But here, I'm going to show you all three so you have a feel of what options you have in real life. But in real life, you would choose only probably one of these three methods. Let's do it. So the next step is to rack your switch, and this is how it's being done. And then we'll go together to the initial setup script.